Okay, Algebra 2 students, this is lesson 7% in equations from geometry. Okay, so we've already done what fractional parts of a number, decimal parts of a number. So this is what percent of what number that we're doing. So let's look at example 7.1. 18 is 20% of what number? Work the problem and then draw the completed diagram. So percent is going to be whatever the number is over 100. And if you also, you can work it if you know, if it's percent, you can divide it by 100 and you can use the decimal and put it into your calculator as well. So 18 is 20% of what number? So that's going to be 20 over 100. That equals 20%. Times what number equals 18. Okay. Where 18 is the result, what number is the total, and 20 is the percent. Okay. So this would be 20 over 100, WN equals 18. So we would multiply by the reciprocal. And then we would divide. Okay, so the number would be 90. Now you can see that if you do this in your calculator, it would be, so 20% would be 0.2, WN equals 18, and you would divide 18 by 0.2, and that would also give you 90. All right, now the diagram is of 90, okay, which is our number. That 90 is the equivalent to 100%, right? So if we were to break this into two parts, 20%,
Houston, we have a problem.
which is what we started out, 20% of what number? The unknown number is 18, right? This is 18. So now that we know that the total is 90, we could take 18 away from that. And we know that the other part is 72. And then this represents 80%. Okay. All right, let's look at example 7.2. 1500 is what percent of 250? Okay, so we don't know what the percent is. So we're going to write it as what percent over 100. We know that 250 is the total. So that'll be times 250. And then is 1500. Okay. So if we multiply this across, this would be the same as multiplying 250 times 1. So 250 over 100, and then the WP is the unknown. Multiply by the reciprocal. This cancels. You can also cross cancel here. But I'm doing mine with a calculator, so I'm just going to write it out and divide it. Okay, that would be 600. So, and it's percent, so it's 600%.
Houston, we have a problem.
Okay. All right, hold on just a second. Okay, now let's look at 7b, equations from geometry. All right. So we have a triangle. And we have A, B, and C angles. 2x plus 2, 7x plus 18. And these are the angles, okay? And then for C, it's 6x plus 10. All right. So we know that the total measurement inside of a triangle is always 180. So if we add all of these together, we know that it will equal 180. So 2x plus 2 plus 7x plus 18 plus 6x plus 10 will equal 180 degrees. All right, so we're going to combine like terms. So 2x, 7x, 6x. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2x, 7x, 6x. So 12, 13, 14, 15x. And then add all of our constants together. Oops, put my equal sign in the wrong place. Add all of our constants together on this side. Combine all of those. So 28, 29, 30 equals 180. And then I need to move that 30 to the other side. So 15x equals 150. And then x is going to be 10. Okay. Because in this example, it says find x. Okay, this is on page 47. All right, let's go ahead and move on to page 48 and look at example 7.4. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back. There's a second part to this problem um, that is on the second page. If you look at the top of 48, now we can use 10 for x and find the measures of the angles. Okay, so we know what the equations are for each of the angles. So if we plug 10 in for each of these, then we can find out what the number of each angle, what the measure of each angle is. So this is 20 plus 2, so this is 22 degrees. This is 70 plus 18, so that's 88 degrees. And this is 60 plus 10, so this is 70 degrees. And then if you add all of those up, that will equal 180. All right, now let's move on to 7.4. Okay, this is another transversal, and it says define x. So we've got this line that crosses these lines, which are parallel. And the way we can tell they're parallel is because they're labeled with this arrowhead, and that arrowhead indicates that these are parallel lines. So when we have lines that are parallel that are cut by another line, these angles all have a relationship to each other. So this obtuse angle right here is going to be the same angle here, here, and here. And also their opposite angles will be the same. So these are all the same measure, okay? And then the acute angles all have the same measure. So if you can find one angle on this transversal, you'll know what all the other angles are. So we've been given that this is 4x plus 33, and that down here, that this is 3x. Well, this is the acute angle, this 3x, and this is the obtuse angle. So they are these are supplementary angles to each other. So that means if we add them together, they will equal 180 degrees. Okay, so all we do is add like terms. So 7x plus 33 equals 180. Subtract 33 from both sides. And we find out that x is equal to 21. And so to find that angle, we just need to substitute that back into both of these expressions. So 4 times 21 is 84 plus 33. So the larger angle is 117 degrees, and the smaller angle is 63 degrees. Okay, last example on this lesson, 7.5. This one is a little bit different. So we have some angles that when they're all added together, they'll equal a straight angle of 180 degrees. So we've got 2x, and we've got 4x, and we've got 2x, and we've got x. So if we add all these together, they'll equal that straight angle of 180 degrees. Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at the solution. Sorry. Okay, back up. Sorry. This should be D, C, B, and A. All right. So what we're given in the problem is that the measures of angle A, B, C, and D are in the ratio of 1 to 2 to 4 to 2. So that means that A is the first one, right? B is the second one, C is the third one, D is the fourth one. So A is going to be that first angle. So we could call it N, or we could call it X, or we could call it whatever, but it's the first one. So in relationship to that, B is going to be 2 times that number. So that one's going to be 2x. And then C is 4 times that. So it's going to be 4x. And D is 2 times that. So it's going to be 2x. Okay. Now we can add all of those up because they'll measure 180 degrees. So 2x plus 4x plus 2x plus x is equal to 180. Add all of our like terms. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 x. So x is equal to 20. And then we can find out what the individual angles are. So this is 20 degrees. This is 40 degrees. This is 80 degrees. And this is 40 degrees. Okay, go ahead and do the practice problems. Pause the video while you do them, and then come back and check your work. Okay, here are the practice problems. So A, 93 is 30% of what number? You're going to multiply by the reciprocal and then solve. So what number would be 310? 7,800 is what percent of 390? So it's going to be 390. It's what percent over 100 times 390 equals 7,800. That ends up being 390 over 100 WP equals 7,800, which is 2,000%. Then C, this one is a little bit different than the examples in the lesson. These, the equations that are what they give you to solve to figure out what the angle is, they're the same angle. So instead of making them equal to 180, you would make them equal to each other because they're both the same angle. In fact, A and B are also that angle. So you're going to set up 2x plus 12 to equal 5x minus 21. Then you'll find that x equals 11. And then if you put that back into either of these expressions, you'll get that the angle is 34 degrees. Okay, great.